awkward family dinners, weddings ruined by murder, and the question we all want answered.
What's your favorite kind of Doritos?
Cool Ranch.
Netflix's latest murder mystery is a 6-part whodunit that'll have you saying,
"You have the right to remain silent."
In this video, we'll be looking at the show's ending and all the clues you might have missed pointing to its killer. So grab yourself a blackberry mojito and sit through that weird intro dance, because here we go. One thing The Perfect Couple does particularly well is misdirect the viewer with tons of believable red herrings. I can't tell you how many times I thought the killer was someone other than who it ended up being, all because every character has their own motive for killing Merritt Monaco. But if you go back and rewatch all the scenes with Abby Winbury, Merritt's killer, it becomes a lot more clear that she's the one. Abby's motive is money. In episode 1, we see her husband Tom ask his father for a loan so the couple can afford a new apartment, a loan that is not granted. You see, Tom can't afford this on his own, and he's millions of dollars in debt. He doesn't have access to his trust fund, which only becomes available to him once the youngest Winbury son turns 18. That falls on Will, whose 18th birthday isn't too far away, but when it's discovered that Tag Winbury, the head of the estate, got Merritt pregnant, it means the trust fund timer will go back to 0, only maturing once that child turns 18. So not only would the trust fund now have to be split 4 ways instead of 3, the kids would have to wait another 18 years to access the funds. This is something Abby simply cannot have. It can also be assumed that Abby married into the Winbury family for the money. Her husband Tom isn't exactly the greatest catch, but she can easily control him and undoubtedly enjoys the privileges such a match entails. Abby revels in this life of opulence. She smears herself in expensive skin cream, wears vintage couture, and often places emphasis on money. A little detail I loved is her in the background opening up the wedding presents now that the wedding is cancelled. When she finds out Amelia has been cheating with Shooter, she thinks it's for the money and not that there's a genuine connection there.
He's just so rich. Interesting.
Ironic, since she'll paint Merritt as a philanderous gold digger.
Merritt had connections with lots of guys.
Abby is incredibly sly on how she misdirects both the family and police from her being the killer, and part of this misdirection is the fact that she's pregnant.
I can't go to jail, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
Not a lot of people think of the pregnant girl as being the murderer. Abby is also overtly kind to Merritt's best friend, Amelia, giving her tips on how to survive in the family and offering to be by her side even after it was found she was cheating. Oftentimes in these murder mystery movies, it's the person who is the most helpful to the protagonist that ends up being the killer. Abby also tries to misdirect others on who this killer is. She's the one who brings up May Pratt, Will's former French teacher who had a fling with Tag and mysteriously disappeared. Anything to put a smokescreen between her and the murder, Abby will do. But let's dig a little deeper with some of these clues. In episode 2, Detective Henry finds Abby cleaning a glass of orange juice. This will be the same type of glass that was found shattered on the beach. It's also odd that Abby is cleaning, as that would be considered something only the maid would do. In an interview with the maid, Gosha tells the police that Abby wanted her to wash the glass with very hot water, but she didn't, hence why Abby had to do it herself in order to get rid of the evidence. Unfortunately, forensics won't be able to find anything on this glass because it was cleaned off. However, there was an interesting component found in Merritt's hair shaft, that of tallow. If you remember back to when Abby was applying her illegal skin cream, she'll mention it contains this material.
This Madura tallow in it? It's banned by the FDA.
The night of Merritt's murder, we'll see Abby apply this cream to her hands, and moments later those same hands will be used to dunk Merritt's head into the water. This is how forensics found the tallow on her hair. Things get even more suspicious after the murder. It's Abby who wants to leave the morning after.
Thought we'd get a jump on the holiday traffic.
We can't leave.
Tom's pill drawer is completely visible to her here. This is where she'll eventually get the pill used to drug Merritt. It also makes more sense why we'll later see her cleaning it. Amelia also stumbles on Abby clearing out Merritt's room. It's all very suspicious.
If they have a problem with me packing up her things, then they can arrest me. But they won't. Because I'm a white woman.
But to understand just how the cops narrowed down our killer, let's take a look at a timeline of events. The Perfect Couple is not told in chronological order. In fact, we often get flashbacks from various character perspectives which are purposely used to mislead the viewer. Take for example when we first see Will leave Chloe to talk to Merritt. We're led to believe he's gone to talk to her because he has a crush, but later on we'll see the same scene from a different vantage point and learn he saw Merritt and his father talking about their baby. So what we're going to do is look at this timeline as it pertains to just the main story, and we're going to look at it in chronological order. The first big plot point happens before the rehearsal dinner between Amelia and Benji. This is when Tom Winbury sneaks into Amelia's mother's room and steals a pill used to assist in euthanasia. He has a penchant for playing prescription pill roulette, stealing various guest pills and popping them at random. Amelia's mother has cancer and brought these pills as a sort of safety blanket in case things took a turn for the worse. It takes 3 of these pills to kill someone, but Tom only takes 1. However, 1 pill is all it takes to really knock someone out. Tom will put this pill in his bedside drawer, which Abby notices. Next, we have the rehearsal dinner, after which Merritt discloses to Tag that she is pregnant with his child. Later on, it's revealed he wants her to get an abortion, which is then where we find her sulking by the shore. She then has a nice pep talk with a completely intoxicated Isabel, unknowingly is almost shot at by Tom who wanted to scare her, and finally is visited by Abby herself. This is where she's given the drugged orange juice and consequently drowned to death. The show never mentions how Abby knew what this pill does, nor how Abby knew Merritt was pregnant with Tag's child. However, it can be assumed that Abby knew many of the family's secrets simply by staying on the periphery and observing. Think of her like the Lady Whistledown of Nantucket. She was also there when Greer noticed she wasn't drinking, a telltale sign someone is pregnant. Ultimately, it is Abby's own lies that lead to her undoing. She tells the police that she was asleep during the night of the murder, aside from a brief moment her husband came to bed. The police know this isn't true because Thomas was spending the night with his mistress, Isabel. Combine this with the glass, the revelation that Thomas owes Isabel millions, and the fact Tom's trust money is soon to be in jeopardy because of this new kid, the police have enough evidence and motive to arrest Abby. Now, we don't know what happens to Abby after her arrest. That's not really part of the story. However, we do catch up with our protagonists, Greer and Amelia, 6 months later. Amelia has since separated from Benji and works at the London Zoo with penguins, her favorite animal. Ironic since it was a zoo where Amelia and Benji first meet. It's uncertain whether Shooter is still in the mix. But the more surprising appearance is that of Greer, who over the course of the show made it no secret her dislike for her future daughter-in-law. So why would she come all the way to London, give Amelia an advanced copy of her book, and ask her out to dinner? It turns out Greer has opted not to make her new book about her beginnings as a high-end escort, rather about Amelia. According to showrunner Jenna Lamia, Greer realized while going over that period in her life how her priorities were in the wrong place. Conversely, she looks at Amelia, who has always been her authentic self. She saw how Amelia dealt with grief, trauma, betrayal, and disappointment, and felt this character showed her how female friendships need not be inherently competitive. This is a far more interesting story. Lamia says that Amelia and Merritt's friendship is the perfect couple, not Tag and Greer, and their relationship is, quote, the truest love story of the whole show. The title of the book, Your Move, is quite fitting since the ball is literally in Amelia's court whether or not she will take Greer up on her offer to grab dinner. The showrunners believe Amelia would definitely take her up on that offer. But what of Greer and Tag? The last we saw them, Greer suggests she finish her book in New York while he stays in Nantucket. While we never know what comes of them, I like to think they've split, that Greer has found through Amelia's story a way to be her authentic self and unshackle from a man who has held her back and prevented her from being her true self. But what did you think of The Perfect Couple? Did you like how it played out? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember...
Look over here! Shoving up my ass, Daddy!